Now let us see some applications of the mean value theorem. The first theorem states that if the derivative of function is 0 at all points, then the function is constant. Let us now write this theorem in a more precise fashion. So let f from AB to R be continuous and be differentiable on open AB. If f dash of x is equal to 0 for all x in AB, then f is constant on AB. Before going into the rigorous proof, let me sketch the basic idea. So we take an arbitrary point x in AB and show that f of x is equal to f of a, which implies that the function has to be a constant. And we show this by applying mean value theorem on the closed interval ax. More precisely, let x belong to the closed interval AB. We can assume that x is not equal to a, because if x is equal to a, then clearly f of x is equal to f of a. So assume that x is not a. Applying the mean value theorem, which will be abbreviated as MVT from now on the closed interval a comma x, we get there exists a C in open AX such that f of x minus f of a is equal to f dash of c into x minus a. But we know that f dash of c is equal to 0. Why? Because the derivative f dash of x is equal to 0 for all x in AB. So this is equal to 0 into x minus a, which is equal to 0. Which implies that f of x is equal to f of a. Which is exactly what we wanted to prove. And as x was arbitrary, this implies that f of x equal to f of a for all x in AB. And hence we have the theorem proved. We saw what happens when the derivative is identically equal to 0. Now we will see what happens if the derivative is non-negative or non-positive. So let f from the closed interval AB to R be differentiable on the open interval AB. Then f is increasing if and only if f dash of x is greater than or equal to 0 for all x in AB. Similarly, f is decreasing if and only if f dash of x is less than or equal to 0 for all x in AB. As usual, we will prove part A, and proof of part B is quite similar, and we will leave that as an exercise. We will first prove this part, that is f is increasing implies that f dash of x is greater than or equal to 0. So let us look at the quantity f of x minus f of c divided by x minus c. If x is greater than c, then x minus c is positive. But if x is greater than c, then f of x is also greater than f of c, because f is an increasing function. So if x is greater than c, both numerator and denominator will be positive. On the other hand, if x is less than c, then the denominator is negative. But the numerator is also negative, because as f is an increasing function, f of x will be less than f of c. So both numerator and denominator will be negative, and hence the quotient will be positive. So irrespective of whether x minus c is negative or positive, f of x minus f of c by x minus c is always positive. So we can say that this quantity is greater than or equal to 0. But if this quantity is greater than or equal to 0, then if you take the limit as x tends to c of that quantity, that will also be greater than or equal to 0. Which implies that, but this limit is nothing but f dash of c. So this implies that f dash of c has to be greater than or equal to 0. But here c was arbitrary and hence we have the result. Now let us prove the other way implication. That is, we will assume that f dash of x is greater than or equal to 0 for all x and conclude that f is an increasing function. So let x1 and x2 be arbitrary points in AB such that x1 is less than x2. We will show that f of x1 is less than f of x2. That's what we will show. So how do we prove this? Apply MVT, that means the mean value theorem, on the interval x1, x2. We get that there exists some c in the open interval x1, x2 such that f of x2 minus f of x1 is equal to f dash of c into x2 minus x1. Now we know that this quantity is greater than or equal to 0 because we are assuming that f dash of x is greater than or equal to 0 for all x. And this quantity is greater than or equal to 0 because we have assumed that x1 is less than x2. So because of this, the product is greater than or equal to 0. So we get, because the product is greater than or equal to 0, f of x2 minus f of x1 is greater than or equal to 0, which is equivalent to f of x2 is greater than or equal to f of x1. As x1 and x2 are arbitrary, this implies that the function f is increasing. We saw that if the derivative of function is greater than or equal to 0 for all x, then the function is increasing. But what can we say if the derivative is greater than 0 at one point? We claim that we can still say that locally the function has to be increasing. And similarly for the case when f dash of c is less than 0. So that is the next lemma that we are going to prove. So lemma, let f from AB to R be differentiable at C. Then 1, f dash of C is greater than 0 implies that there exists a delta greater than 0 such that f of x is greater than f of c for all x in C to C plus delta intersected with AB. Similarly, f dash of c is less than 0 implies that there exists a delta greater than 0 such that f of x is greater than f of c for all x in C minus delta to C intersected with AB. Now let us try to prove this. As usual, we will only prove 1, 2 will be left as an exercise as it is similar. So because f dash of c is the limit x tends to c of f of x minus f of c by x minus c, and f dash of c is greater than 0, this quantity you can find a delta such that f of x minus f of c by x minus c is greater than 0 if x belongs to c minus delta to c plus delta. Okay, and that implies that if you look at the function f of x minus f of c, that is equal to f of x minus f of c by x minus c into x minus c. Now notice that f of x, this quantity, is greater than 0 if x belongs to c minus delta to c plus delta. Similarly, this quantity is greater than 0 if x is greater than c. So together both these imply that f of x minus f of c is greater than 0 if x belongs to c to c plus delta. Now f of x minus f of c is greater than 0 is same as f of x is greater than f of c if x belongs to c plus delta, which is what we wanted to prove. We will end this video by proving a very interesting theorem which states that if f is differentiable, then f dash satisfies the intermediate value property. Let us state this properly. So this theorem is called Darboux theorem. If f is differentiable on AB and k is a number such that f dash of A is less than k is less than f dash of B, then there exists a C in A comma B such that f dash of C is equal to k. Proof. As usual, our idea is construct an auxiliary function. So define g of x as kx minus f of x. G is continuous as f of x is continuous and kx is continuous. So it attains a maximum value on AB. We will show that this maximum is not attained at A or B, which will imply that it has to be attained at some interior point C, implying that the derivative of g at C has to be equal to 0, which implies that f dash of C is equal to k. So let's go through this more thoroughly. So let's see what is g dash of A. So g dash of A is equal to k minus f dash of A, which is greater than 0. Similarly, g dash of B is equal to k minus f dash of B, which is less than 0. By previous lemma, we have that there exists a delta such that g of x is greater than g of A if x belongs to A plus delta, which implies that g does not attain a maximum at A. Similarly, from part 2 of the previous lemma, we get that there exists a delta such that g of x is greater than g of B if x belongs to B minus delta to B, which again means that B is not a maximum for the function g. So the maximum is attained at some point C. Okay, so g attains maximum at a point C. And we know that g dash of C is thus equal to 0. But g dash of C is nothing but k minus f dash of C. And this implies that k minus f dash of C is 0, which implies that f dash of C is equal to k, completing our proof. Now the interesting fact is that the derivative of function need not be continuous, taking us back to one of the discussions we had in the intuition for continuity. Correct? Because the derivative of a function need not be continuous, but it satisfies the intermediate value property. So intermediate value property and continuity are not really one and the same. In fact, the example sine 1 by x that we saw in the first video on continuity is the derivative of a function. So this is very deeply tied with what we discussed there.